That's always okay. So we're all up in the air, and getting some legs for this thing done. That's heavy wall pipe. I had the phone on the charger, so that's the reason why I hadn't started filming or showing anything yet. Excuse me, Scott, stay hydrated. Okay, so what I started doing here is I started to get this pad welded down to the leg. Kind of doing bits and pieces because I don't really want to warp the pad any more than it's already going to warp. We are leveled in slightly. See if we can zoom in on that. Looks like a zooming in that we can get. Whoop. See here. Not quite. There we go. Not better than I can see with the naked eye, that's for sure. So it doesn't look like it's going too bad for grab and hold. So what I'm going to do, just refocused. There we go. Is I'm going to try to figure out where I can set you so you can watch it. Yeah, I'll set you way back and then zoom in. Alright, I'm back. May have to pause and take care of a fire or something because, well, I had to set up a piece of cardboard because that dog is determined to be over this way, but he's a good 40 feet away from me. So hopefully not. Now, always get comfortable before you weld. Gotta figure out how you're gonna go. And I'm gonna go right across here. Obviously it's good enough. Good enough. I keep forgetting to look for the damn lens covers for this. Lens covers for this, you can see a lot better where the other welds are, and where they began, where they ended, and all that. That's right. I was really worried about warpage, as if this was thinner metal, like sheet metal, and a spray bottle of water or something. No, it's a heck of a lot better than what the other leg does. And you're not going to even see the other leg. Because it's trash. Just for aesthetics. That's 2 legs. Only 8 more to go. There's that's better. After some reason I gotta stop the camera before I flip it around to the front camera. Whatever. Stay. Okay. I didn't even bother doing what I have of here this morning. Alright. So check it out. Got the frame for the filter box done. Alright. Getting the legs done for it. We're pretty much to the height that we're going to be at. Let me show you real quick, switch you around. Never mind the cardboard, that was to show the dog's eyes. So there we are. Now if we bring our approach up to where that yellow line is, it'll be something like, I'm going to have to figure out how to go and film this so you can see what I'm talking about. What we're talking about, time we get all stretched out there. So we approach, probably something like that. That's not that bad of an approach. Mind you, this end will be higher, you know, but it'll equal out to about that angle. Ain't too bad for taking the car up. Only difference is that's a shorter distance. We're talking from there all the way over to that yellow line, approximately. And we'll get to about that angle, maybe a little steeper. Oh, let's have a little word about fish plates. Why did I fish plate it? First thing we talk about before we talk about the fish plates is why I cut it where I cut it to go and add the extensions in, and about structure and about load and spreading loads. So why I cut it where I cut it, and more importantly about structural integrity and weight dispersion, and how it actually isn't as much as you think on one spot because it spreads out everywhere. So what I did is I went for center. As if you remember, I had two C's basically facing each other. So I cut at the, oh, this is a long C. I cut at the center of the C. You'd think, well, if we cut at the center of the C, then we'd have weld seams that match up, which we don't. You see, it's actually 2 foot off. That's where that other weld seam is. The reason why I did that is if you had the seams lined up, then the best way to explain this, if you had the seams lined up right here and right there, or right over there. Okay, so if we had those seams lined up, and for some reason there's weight right on those seams here and over there, they could have a tendency to both break right there. So you got weak spot, and a weak spot, right? So I offset the cuts a little bit. And see where the one is, see where the other is. See where the one is, see where the other is. That's the first thing I did. I guess you could look at that as a way of distributing the stresses, not having them lined up the way you do with ductwork. Wherever the seam that goes in line with the ductwork, you don't have the seams matching up when you go and join two ducts together, or piping or anything like that. All right, so then we fish plate it. We'll get to the why I fish plated in a second. Let's continue with distributing load. So we're going to have 1.5 inch out this way, 2 inch down this way, angle iron, dowel weld in for lip. So imagine each side has that lip. We have here, this is what holds the filters. Well, not just a single one, but these hold the filters, and as you can see, they hang down in. The filters go on top, then you have the grates that go on top of here. You have a row of grates, a row of grates, and obviously over there, a row of grates. So your vehicle comes up in here. Say you have a 6,000 pound vehicle, that's a heavy truck. You're going to have 1,500 pounds per wheel, if it's even to be dispersed, which it probably won't be. So at 1,500 pounds, say 3,000 pounds on this end, dispersed between here and here. By the time you go and get out to this whole thing taking the load, this whole thing taking the load, a leg over there, a leg over here, one in the center, leg over here, and leg over here, you're only going to be a few hundred pounds, if that, per leg. Plus, well, mainly because, I should say, most of the weight will be coming down these, and that's a lot of area to disperse the weight out on. So you can really start to see when you look at it like that, that this is really pretty overbuilt. And so if that wasn't overbuilt enough, then we go with the fish plates. But you can see this would be without the fish plate here. This nice little welded seam. And never mind that, I had to fix water pipe so I could we actually have water here. So then you got fish plate there. And let me sit down and look at this fish plate. So you got this fish plate. Typically I'd like to have holes to plug weld also right there at the seam on either side of the seam. But this works pretty good. So then what you have besides the weld now is you have this plate across here. So the stresses, if it was going down, the stresses would also have to pull on this weld and that weld and that weld and that weld and the plug welds and these plug welds, and so you can see where it gets a lot more strength that way. And that's about all I gotta say about fish plating right now and load dispersion. Okay, now that I'm recording, not just taking pictures of myself, So I'm going to figure out at some point the weight dispersal, so I figure out pounds per square inch, so we know how much load is on approximately on each leg, and then on those cages that go down the center, if you want to call them cages, whatever, supports, and that'll be interesting to know. But you'll see this way overkill on the way I'm building this. And in the meantime, I'm going to go cut down 2 more legs because I made them too long by 5 inches, and get them beveled and welded out to plate. And I'll see you in just a second for you, a little bit longer for me. Okay, quick word on cutting pipe. Anything wrong? Let's put a pin down here. I'm going to do this one-handed or attempt to. Okay, so we want to measure out. Want to measure out. Try to keep it straight on here. I want 16 and a half. Yep, on top will be all right. Try and do this. So I want 16 and a half. The cap off the fin. Okay. 1.5. No. 16 and 1/2. There we go, right there. All right. So you want that mark all the way around. You want it even, straight, whatever you want to say. So we got the nice little pipe wrap by Sprite, and I'm not sponsored, ha ha ha. So what we're going to do, let's get this pin out of my hand. This is going to be interesting doing this one-handed. Okay, so basically you take this and you're going to wrap this around it. Make sure your edges line up. And then you get to your mark. Better if you're on your mark when you do this one-handed. Your edges all line up. And there we go, the straight line. And for all of y'all that don't do anything like this or think, wow, that's a wonderful thing you thought of, you should, put it in invent something like that. Well, it's already been invented. And I've got the thing at my shop, but I don't have it here. But there you go. That's how you mark your round pipe to get a straight cut. And trust me, I'm not sitting here expecting the best for the straightest line on this, but hey, Sprite box works. All right, done for the day. Out of here. I didn't miss much. I should have showed you what I got done, but I got it sitting on 3 of the legs. I got cut a pad for the 4th. I'll do it, but hey, whatever. We'll get it done. Today's Sunday. I'd really rather just go home the rest of the day. Besides, it's raining here, and up there at the shop, I got a leaky roof, which means I got water coming down. And that ain't cool. But, hey, that's a whole nother whine cry. Good 5th of whiskey at least, bitch and complain about it, but who wants to do that and who wants to listen to that? And that's it. See you on the next one.